Well, good morning from sunny San Antonio, Texas. I'm here with my associate and a colleague in transition, Sean Passmore. Sean is the EVP of the Perfect Technician Academy. He used to work at USAA, and I'm really pleased to be working with him because he really understands the whole transition space, and he's going to give you some honest information about opportunities in the HVAC career field. After that, I'm going to do a short little course on LinkedIn, and then we're going to talk a little bit about networking at the end. And of course, if you have any questions, just let us know. So, Sean, I got control of the of my mouse, and I am going to cue you up, sir. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Matt. And hey, thanks, Tony, by the way, for setting this up and reaching out to Matt and I. And Matt, thank you for including me and thinking about me for this opportunity. So for those on the meeting, let me just, brief introduction. I retired from the Army almost 6 years ago now. So in June of 2014, I served 22 and a half years. I held 2 enlisted MOSs and was promoted up to staff sergeant. So in the Army, that's E6 before I went to OCS, and then served another 12 and a half years as an officer and retired as an Army major in Signal Corps. So what I've been doing for the last 6 years, almost 6 years, is I am a military hiring strategist and subject matter expert on military transition. So I've designed and built strategies, initiatives, programs, and projects to recruit and hire and develop and retain veterans, and have coached thousands, right? Talked to, presented to, coached, and mentored thousands of veterans and military spouses just on this idea of career readiness and how to be as competitive as possible for landing that next job. I'm certified HR professional. I have a talent acquisition credential and the SHRM Foundation's Veteran at Work certificate as well. So I'm going to talk to you guys about opportunities in the HVAC industry very briefly. I'm going to talk to you about what we're doing at Perfect Technician Academy to prepare veterans for successful careers in the HVAC industry. But then I'm really here to answer questions that you guys might have about HVAC, not about HVAC, just anything in transition in general, from resumes to Dress for Success to interview prep to networking and informational interviews. And if I can add value to your transition strategy, then that's what I'm here for. So let me talk to you first just a little bit about Perfect Technician Academy. So we have become really a training academy of choice for the veteran community, veterans who are interested in long-term, meaningful, profitable careers in the heating air conditioning industry. And when I say an academy of choice, what I mean is between 60 and 70% of the people who come to our school have served in the military. So that means in 2020, this year, we will have trained and certified about 200 veterans. So a lot of attention, a lot of interest, and I wish we could take credit for that as a school entirely, but a lot of it has to do with the industry itself. And I will tell you, when you talk to these home services, whether it be HVAC or plumbing, electrical, you talk to these business owners, what they'll tell you is one thing more than anything that keeps them from growing, from dominating their market, from crushing their competition, is that they cannot meet the demand for highly skilled and qualified technicians. There just aren't enough people to do the jobs. So that's how our academy was created. That's why our academy was created, was to take people with no previous experience and very quickly deliver them to the industry as high performing technicians. And we're not, at our school, we're not training assistants, we're not training apprentices, we're not training someone to ride in the right seat of the truck, we're not training someone to hand somebody else tools. Our graduates are trained to be proficient individual operators in a vehicle of their own, out in the field, taking care of customers' heating and cooling needs. So it was really about a fast track to get somebody into the industry performing at a high level in a very short amount of time. So that's one thing that sets our school apart from other schools in the industry, but let me tell you a little bit about just the industry itself. If you can give me the next slide, please, Matt. So here's what the Department of Labor will tell you, because I can tell you all day long how great our school is and how great the industry is, but I would point you to the Department of Labor. And these are 2018 stats, but as of right now, these are still the most current stats. When you go to the Department of Labor, and I would encourage you to look this up on your own. Just open up a Google page and type in Department of Labor HVAC salaries, and this stuff will come up. Okay, so this is what the Department of Labor has told us. In 2018, the median wage for HVAC mechanics and installers was almost $48,000, which is about $2,000 more than the median wage for all maintenance and repair occupations, and about $9,000 more than the median wage for all occupations in the United States in 2018. So what this means is people who are interested in HVAC careers have a very high probability of being successful when it comes to how much you earn, and then also financial independence and being able to support yourself and earn a meaningful wage. The Department of Labor also has told us that the top 10% are earning more than $76,000. And by the way, that's where the veterans are. When you look across the industry, historically, veterans have been very high performers in the heating and air conditioning roles. So you're not average, you're not median, you can expect to earn a good living in heating and air conditioning. So let's talk about job opportunities. Okay, same stats. Department of Labor will tell you that the projected growth from 2016 to 2026 for the industry as a whole was projected to grow 15%. And you can see that's more than double the projected growth for other maintenance and repair occupations and all other occupations combined. So we're talking about employment opportunity, right? No matter where you want to live and work in the country, people are hiring air conditioning techs, and career stability. So we're talking about long-term, meaningful, profitable careers, because HVAC isn't going away. I don't know where everybody lives who's logged on here, but there's probably a lot of construction going on no matter where you live. New houses continue to go up, and those new houses need new equipment. Older houses have older equipment that need to be retrofitted, upgraded, or replaced entirely. And with an increased focus on energy efficiency and pollution reduction, heating and air conditioning jobs are going to be around for a very, very long time, and those number of opportunities are only going to increase. This is a career field that is not easily replaced by robotics or artificial intelligence. There are always going to need to be people to do these jobs. So I tell you we're an academy of choice. I'm telling you we're going to do 300 students this year. 200 of those probably are going to be veterans. And this is a big reason why, is there are these opportunities that I think people have been overlooking for a long time, and they're now starting to realize what a great opportunity it actually is. Matt, have a slide, please. Thank you, sir. So here's how we do it. I've told you that we're all about getting people into the industry quickly. Our program is only 6 weeks long, but within those 6 weeks, we're talking about 300 hours of curriculum. So very comparable to a program you may see in a junior college that takes 12, 15, 18 months. We are turning people over in only 6 weeks. And one of the reasons that veterans have been very successful at our school is that this is not unlike military training that veterans have seen in the occupational training that they had to go through. So we're doing it at an accelerated pace. We are VA approved school. So most of the veterans that come to school with us are using their GI Bill, and it covers 100% of the tuition, and the lodging for the 6 weeks is all covered in that GI Bill. So it takes a long time for a school to get VA approved, at least 2 years. There are other schools that have done it. We have gotten a head start on most of them. So that's another reason veterans are looking to us to conduct their training and certification. And I say certification because that's what our graduates come out with. They're coming out with a 608, EPA 608, which is your universal refrigerant. It's going to allow you to work in the United States as a heating and air conditioning technician. So that's part of our training. For those who have come to school who actually have some previous experience or have done some work in the industry before, we are able to do NATE training and testing, but generally speaking, that's not a new skills type of certification. It's a continuing education thing. So we have had several students, however, complete NATE training and testing while they're at Perfect Technician Academy as well. We offer employment assistance. I will tell you that no matter what school you're looking at, no matter what trade, if there is a school that is guaranteeing you employment, you need to ask questions about that because that's usually a no-no in the trade school arena. So we are not allowed to guarantee employment, but I will tell you that our placement rating since 2015 is about 95%. So we work very hard, it's important to us, and we do the best job we can making sure that our graduates are employed shortly after, if not immediately after graduating. So the way we do that is we have a large number, close to 1,000 employers across the country that we can reach out to. And we try to line our students up with interview opportunities while they're still in school, because I don't want our students worrying about writing resumes, trying to get an interview. We need them focused entirely on the curriculum that we are presenting. So we leverage a large network across the country to help place our students into HVAC careers. And again, about 95% placement rate since 2015. So we're doing a really good job there. And you know, in this bottom bullet says no degree or previous experience required. I will tell you that no previous experience is actually preferred at our school because our instructors feel very strongly about bringing somebody with no experience. That person doesn't have any bad habits that need to be untrained or any unsafe practices that have to be retrained. So we love when we have students who haven't done this before, but we have plenty of students who have previous experience as well, and they just either have picked it up on the job over time and they really want the school setting or the refresher, or they've been doing the job but they don't have the certification. So we take all kinds of students in the school, but no previous experience and no degree is required for sure. Matt, help me out with the new slide, please.
And while we do that, I got a question for you.
Okay, sure. So you don't got to take my word for it. Here's some things that veterans have said who have participated in our school. Let me move this out of the way. So every day you come to work, you're helping other people. I will tell you that something I didn't realize when I started in this industry with this school, but that I do realize now, is that these home services jobs, plumbers, electricians, especially HVAC, they have very much a first responder aspect to them. They're out there working right now. You know, we've seen people impacted by COVID. Folks are working from home, they're in place. You know, the temperature is getting hotter as we move closer to summer. And when someone has a heating or air conditioning problem, it's not a very comfortable situation for them. And for a technician to be able to come in, solve their problem quickly, restore the comfort to their home, it's very much a first responder, especially when you look at, you know, New York. I grew up in Las Vegas. You know, we out playing outside in 120 degrees. So, you know, when I saw people in New York who were passing away in the summertime, it didn't make sense to me until I spent some time in New York in the summertime, and I get it. But especially these, you know, these elderly families, when it gets hot, that's a life-threatening situation potentially. So, you know, these technicians will tell you about helping other people every single day. It's the value that they find in the career. And here's another veteran who said, you know, there's money to be made. You just have to be willing to work for it. So if you're making $22 an hour and you're working 40 hours a week, you're going to hit that median, right? That median $47,000 a year is what you're going to make if you're average. But if you're making that money and you're working 50 hours a week, and then you're getting a percentage of sales, that's when you hit that, you know, top 10% high performer. You're making closer to $80,000 a year. And it is not uncommon. If you go talk to some residential heating and air conditioning technicians, it is not uncommon for these guys to make six figures. So a lot of money to be made. If you can do something that nobody wants to do or nobody else can do, that's where you have an opportunity to earn some money. And then lastly, and this is actually a quote that was pulled from one of our videos, you have the discipline, you've earned your GI Bill, why not use those benefits to learn a trade? It's kind of a no-brainer, and it kind of is a no-brainer. So that's pulled from one of our videos. And Matt, if I could have the next slide, please. This is where you can find more information, right? So our webpage is right there. It's perfecttechnicianacademy.com. We're on all the social media platforms. I would encourage you to look at our YouTube channel. and see the video that I talked about in lots of other videos, veteran success stories, veterans who were living in the back of their car before they came to our school and are now hugely successful. Just a lot of feel-good stuff like that. But do your research. Here's where you can find us. Connect with me on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, you should be on LinkedIn, and Matt's going to talk to you more about that. But certainly connect with me on LinkedIn if you want to know more information about my school or just military transition in general. Like I said, I'm happy to help. And then, Matt, give me my last slide, please. And then you said you had questions. Do you want me to take questions now, or do you want to wait? Oh, somebody asked me where the school is. That's an important piece of information. So the school is in Weatherford, Texas, which is about 20 minutes west of Fort Worth, so North Texas. And our students have to come to school, right? Something that really sets us apart from other schools is all of our students come to Weatherford, Texas. There's no online, there's no weekends. About 60% of the course is hands-on. Day 3, you're tearing apart air handlers. So it's an obstacle for some people, honestly, to get out to Texas to do training. But for us, it's all about quality control. And we cannot deliver the quality curriculum that we do in Weatherford anywhere else, not online, really nowhere else. So it's a special place for us, and that's where it's at. Matt, what do you got for me? You're on mute.
Myself.
Okay.
Got it. And hello from my side of San Antonio. I'm going to talk about 3 basic elements of your LinkedIn profile. These are like what I would call above the fold. And so obviously the first is the photo. And professional photo is something you want to aspire to, but it's not necessary. I see a lot of these kind of profile photos. I call this a gray balloon. You can't really see them. And, you know, if you're looking in a crowded room for a job interview, how would you find that person? A lot of people, before we got these new impressive phones, would use like a low resolution, you know, snap from like an iPhone 6. This is not the photo you want to use to make an impression. And this is not the photo you want to use on your LinkedIn page. This is something we found on one of the people that connected with me. And only one person at a time. So here's the elements of an effective photo. And the last one is one I really want to talk about, which is a neutral background. A good background has minimal distracting elements. Here's a guy by the name of Abel Martinez. He had the gray balloon. His girlfriend took the photo, and he was hired within 2 days. So the photo, and you talk to staffing people, they'll tell you that if you don't have a photo, they're just going to pass on you. So here's an example of an excellent photo, but here was the situation, and this is something I want to tell you. If you go to like some of these career fairs, job fairs, sometimes they'll take a great photo like you see here with my friend Jimmy, but they're kind of slow in getting that photo back to you, or they couldn't read your handwriting or your email address. So I always tell people, when you go to one of these settings, you get the time that you were there and the event that you were there, get the email of the person that took the picture, then say, hey, you know, I was at this Red, White, and You event on November the 10th, and now it's December the 1st. I still haven't gotten the picture. Perhaps you didn't remember me, but I do remember getting the picture taken at like 2:55 p.m. So, and of course, the last thing is if you don't get a response, contact the event organizer to get her help. One of the things I've seen with a lot of people is that they invest money to have a photo taken at JCPenney's. So if you have a birthday coming up, you should ask for a gift certificate for a professional photo shoot. And before I move on to this, if you're still on active duty, I'm of the mindset that until about 6 months before you're getting ready to retire or separate, that you use a professional photo. And then you can go to something like this. So of all the things you're going to do on your LinkedIn profile, the photo is probably the first impression, and they can evolve as we've shown today. And professional photo sessions, they're worth the investment. Now let's talk about the hidden headline. A lot of people, when they go to transition school, they see these kind of headlines, and they're okay. But here is another person who used the military kind of insight into his profile. But, you know, I was in the military, but I still don't understand what the heck CBRN is. I do know what Sergeant Major is, but that's because I had 20 years of experience. This is what we did with this person's headline. We took it and put it into more of a statement. What am I looking to do? So those of you that are looking to go into HVAC, it'll be seeking opportunities within HVAC or seeking information on HVAC opportunities. Of course, when you're talking with someone like Sean, he's going to help you with that as well. But if you're not in that career track, this is one way to kind of convey what you want to do when you leave the military. Here is not one, but two, if not three different headlines. The title, second headline, and the banner photo. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to get to that. Okay, so we're going to go through the basic steps to create a headline. We're going to introduce a hidden hack. And with the changes in LinkedIn formatting, especially in the mobile side, it's important that you have this mastered. So what we want to do is, when you have time, and I'm going to send these slides to you, Tony, so you can share with everybody. And if people will email me, they're not part of Tony's organization, I will send these slides as well. But this is what I would tell you. Click on the blue pencil, like that. And then you can put your first and last name into the first name category. Notice that I also put the comma there. Then I put a title. Then I put like a headline. I will answer any questions afterwards, but I'll just continue the process here. Now, how about that backdrop photo, that banner photo? Here's what you do. I use the hypothetical Tom Sawyer. I click there to start. I click here. I put 1,400 pixels across. Come on. Let's look in. Click. And 425 down. And that's what it looks like on the desktop. And here's what it's going to look like on a mobile phone. So, like the photo, they can evolve when your job or duties change. I would also say when your appearance changes. Don't overlook the subliminal message from your background photo. This acts as a headline. It should consistently align with your profile's message. And finally, ask someone who knows you to review your headlines. We're going to go to the last part, which I call the About section. And I always look at the About section like a fishing bobber. So you've got to convey within 18 words what you want to do. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about how we can put the all those key job titles that people need to put in their profile. We'll talk about that in just a second. So first, this is your typical LinkedIn profile if you don't give it any input. And I can tell you honestly, if I had $20 every time I saw the word demonstrated history and the word strong business development in a profile, I would be able to take Sean Passmore and myself to Las Vegas, and we would be able to stay and hang with the high rollers, because this is typical of most military profiles, is that they use these kind of words. Okay. Here's a good example of a profile that's written in the first person. See where he's talking about his mission up there. My passion is healthcare. And he covers the who, and then he's talking about how you can be of help as I begin my transition process. So I'm going to walk through 4 steps that you should consider when you're doing your profile. Number 1, what's your short mission statement? Okay. Number 2, what's your goal? Next is what's your call to action? And then finally, you have all your key skills. If you have skills like electrical skills, any kind of skills you think that people should know, this is where you would put that. Okay. And this is important because when you look at some mobile devices, they allow that first 18 words to appear, and you've got to be convincing enough that I want to know the rest of your story. So 18 words in your summary. Your profile takes on an interactive conversation with mentors, colleagues, and hiring professionals. And keen on the 4 elements I've shown here, and of course I'll share this with Tony, will help you with the with your job search. I'm going to turn this back. Stop share. And I'm going to answer any questions you might have. Anybody have any questions?
Hey, Matt, Shauna has typed in here asking you to send the LinkedIn slides.
I got it. I got that. I saw that. I will just paste those real quick. Yes, sir. Any other questions?
I was wondering if we got any questions from Tony's group.
Yeah, Tony. I'm gonna take my video off so we can save the bandwidth. Tony, we're here. Hey, Tony, you have any questions? Okay, Shane, I will send you those slides. Okay, good question. Andrew's asking, explain how to tell a story on the LinkedIn experience section. I heard you mention this recently, but not sure how to implement it. Okay. Sean, do you mind taking over? I'm going to look up something real quick since we have time. I'm going to pull up some slides on the experience section since we have time.
Yeah, we got time.
Okay, let me just get that up.
So, you can learn a lot from other folks on LinkedIn as well, I would tell you, right? And just look at any time we had to do anything in the military, right? We didn't always do stuff from scratch necessarily. You always, well, where's the SOP? What's the last guy who wrote an SOP? So I would tell you start by looking at people's LinkedIn profiles are doing the jobs that you want to do, working for the companies you want to work with, and look at their experience section. I'm just going to pull my experience section up here. Yeah, and let me see if I can.
Okay.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
All right, let's do that. Can I though? I'm looking.
You're a co-panelist. You got control.
Here it is. All right, let me share my screen.
Okay.
And let me move this out of the way. Let me move this out of the way. All right, so we're talking about the experience section specifically, right? So for me, mine's kind of set up like maybe like a resume would be set up. Something that is important that I don't think, Matt, you touched on this. See these logos here? Make sure that when you type in your employer, right, when you put in your company, make sure that you're getting the logo especially if you're in Army, Air Force, any, Navy, Marine Corps. When you type it in, if it's not typed in exactly right, you're not going to get the logo, and you're just going to kind of get a blank box. And if you're getting a blank box, that means it's not typed in right. And if it's not typed in right, then that means recruiters aren't going to find you if they're searching for it. Okay, so that's one point here in your company. Make sure when you type it in, you're getting your logo right there. And then when you come into your description section, let me not delete it. For me, bottom line up front, what do I do, right? I'm developing and executing strategies. I'm using keywords here, by the way, that would be found in a job posting for a similar type of job. So it's all about the algorithms and making sure you're hitting keywords, just like you would in a resume. And then I put some bullet points. I think, I've used some bullet points here, but I kind of like people who just use more of a narrative type, like I've done up here in the first paragraph. But yeah, what have you done?
I got a couple of good examples. I've got my screen whenever you're ready.
Okay, you want me to give you? I'll give it back to you then.
Please. Okay.
I'll give it back to you. Hold on a second.
So these are 3 case studies of some people that I've worked with as far as their experience. So you can all see. Make sure I got this right. Start video. You can all see the my friend Dwayne Sowell, who is an AC-130 Loadmaster, and that is Joe Biden in his in that picture. And he was involved in some very special missions before he retired. So what happened with Dwayne was we sat down, we looked at some things that kind of explained Dwayne's role in his last job as the person in charge of C-130 assignments and curriculum. And so he had this kind of stuff, the bullets, so to speak, that Sean was talking about. But this is what we created from that. This is more the narrative. It talks in kind of a non-military style, but easy to digest and easy to understand. And so when you look at that, you get an example of Dwayne's leadership and his teamwork. Here's another project that we found with Dwayne, and we found it through one of these algorithm resources. Here's 3 key points. And this is how he conveyed that in his experience section. This is my friend Jeff. Jeff is a commander of the security police group here in San Antonio. Just like Sean had with his profile, he kind of talks about the mission stuff, and he does it in such a way that helps people that are non-military kind of understand the numbers and the impact. Yeah, so the who element, who are you? And then of course the what. This is something that he's very proud of, and he should be, because it's a highly demanding job to be responsible for so many security policemen, and this is part of his longer profile. So I would encourage you to look up, and I will post this with the help of Tony. I'll give you his LinkedIn profile so you can look at it, because he's the A standard of all LinkedIn profiles as far as I'm concerned. And this is DeMario. DeMario's an NCO. Again, here's his who element. And there is the what element.